Hey Falcons fans, there's some buzz going around the internet lately, and it could mean big things for our team. But before we dive in, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel. You won't want to miss any of the latest updates, insider info, and everything about the Atlanta Falcons. Now let's get to the juicy part. The big news making headlines in the NFL is that Myles Garrett has officially asked for a trade from the Cleveland Browns. And guess what? The Atlanta Falcons are being talked about as a possible new home for him. Just picture it. Myles in black and red. That kind of move could really shake things up and take our team to the next level. Let's be honest, Falcons fans, our pass rush has been a struggle for a long time. Last season, we ranked 31st in total sacks, with only 31. That puts us near the bottom of the league. This isn't just a one-time issue. We haven't finished higher than 20th in sacks since 2017, which, by the way, was the last time we had a winning record and made the playoffs. That's why the thought of bringing in Myles Garrett is so thrilling. He's a powerhouse on the defensive line. Since he joined the league in 2017, he's recorded at least 12 sacks every season. Plus, he was named the 2023 NFL Defensive Player of the Year. Simply put, he's a game changer. Someone who can disrupt any opposing offense all on his own. According to ESPN insider Dan Graziano, the Falcons are one of 4 top teams being considered for Garrett's trade, along with the Eagles, Lions, and Commanders. So why is Atlanta such a great fit? It all comes down to our financial situation. With Michael Penix Jr. on a rookie contract, we have the flexibility to make big moves elsewhere on the roster. Adding a superstar like Garrett could speed up our journey to becoming a serious playoff contender. Becoming a contender is exciting, but there are some hurdles to jump over first. The biggest challenge? Convincing the Browns to part ways with their star defender. Cleveland's front office has already stated they're not interested in trade offers. However, with Garrett publicly asking for a trade, things could change. When a player of his talent wants out, teams will definitely start making calls. Next, we have to think about what it would take to bring him to Atlanta. 2 first-round picks would probably be the starting point for negotiations. And that's where it gets interesting. One reason the Falcons drafted Michael Penix Jr. at number 8 last year was that they didn't expect to be picking in the top 10 again anytime soon. This year, we have the number 15 pick, and our offense looks like it could be a top 10 unit by 2025. So, would you trade the number 15 pick this year and a late first-rounder in 2026 for Myles Garrett? Keep in mind that Garrett is under contract through 2026, but the Falcons would likely want to extend him and lower his cap hits, which are currently $19.8 million in 2025 and $25 million in 2026. At just 29 years old, he should be able to stay productive for at least 4 more seasons. If the Falcons can pull this off, a 10-7 record should be the minimum expectation for this team. Just think about it. Adding Garrett to our defense would be a total game changer. The Rams finished 10-7 last season and are picking at number 26 in this year's draft. That could easily be us if we make the right moves. But it's not just about draft picks. The Falcons will also need to create some cap space, which means making tough decisions on veteran contracts. Right now, we're $1 million over the projected salary cap limit, so changes are necessary regardless. If we're going to clear cap space, why not do it for a player like Myles Garrett? Another potential challenge is whether Garrett would even want to come to Atlanta. In his trade request, he made it clear that he wants to compete for a Super Bowl. So the big question is, are the Falcons at that level? Now, whether the Falcons are truly at the Super Bowl level is up for debate. We haven't made the playoffs since 2017, and while the team seems to be improving, we still need to prove it on the field. However, if we bring Garrett on board, that upward trajectory could happen much faster. He's the kind of player who elevates everyone around him. Opposing offenses would have to specifically game plan for him, which would free up other defenders to make plays. Plus, having a veteran leader like Garrett in the locker room would be invaluable for our younger defensive players. So, what do you think, Falcons fans? Is Myles Garrett worth 2 first-round picks and some tough decisions about our salary cap? Should the Falcons go all in to bring him to Atlanta, Or do you think we should stick to building through the draft and free agency? I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Now, let's shift gears a bit. There's been a lot of talk lately about head coach Raheem Morris and some surprising news about quarterback Kirk Cousins. Just when we thought the drama from last season had settled down, Cousins dropped a bombshell during Super Bowl week. He revealed that he had been dealing with an injury toward the end of the 2024 season. You can imagine the shockwaves this sent through the Falcons fan base. Why are we just hearing about this now? This revelation raises a lot of questions, not just about Cousins, but also about the coaching staff and the medical team. Did they know about the injury and choose to keep it quiet, or were they completely unaware? Either way, it doesn't look good for anyone involved. And let's be honest, it doesn't change the fact that Raheem Morris stuck with Cousins despite his struggles on the field. Many fans were already frustrated with Morris for waiting until the season was almost over to make a quarterback change. If Cousins was injured, that decision looks even worse in hindsight. The team had chances to improve their chances of winning, and those chances were wasted. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. Some people are speculating that Cousins might be exaggerating the severity of his injury to push for a release or generate trade interest. I'm not saying that's definitely the case, but the timing is certainly suspicious. If the injury was so serious, why not disclose it when it actually mattered? Why wait until now? This whole situation puts the Falcons in a tough spot. On one hand, Cousins' honesty, or lack thereof, has made things messy. On the other hand, it's clear that the Falcons need to make some big decisions moving forward. But here's the kicker. Cutting Cousins doesn't make financial sense. Keeping him on the roster as a backup is actually cheaper than releasing him. That's right. There's a $25 million cap hit to consider. So, what does this mean for the Falcons' off-season strategy? For starters, they shouldn't feel pressured to find a starting opportunity for Cousins elsewhere. At this point, the organization owes him nothing. If a trade offer comes along that makes sense, great. But if not, there's no harm in keeping him as a backup. He's a cheaper option on the bench than having a dead cap hit. Now, let's talk about the impact this has on Raheem Morris. The timing of Cousins' injury revelation makes the coaching staff look questionable, to say the least. Regardless of whether they knew about the injury, Morris's decision to stick with Cousins for so long was a mistake. Fans deserve better decision-making from the coaching staff, and this situation highlights the need for accountability. What about Cousins himself? His choice to keep quiet about the injury until now comes off as selfish. It's hard not to see this as a move made with his own interests in mind rather than the team's. If he had been upfront about his condition earlier, it might have changed the course of the season. At the very least, it would have given the team and the fans a clearer understanding of what was going wrong. As frustrating as this situation is, it does provide some clarity for the Falcons. The organization can now approach the offseason with a clear understanding of where Cousins stands, and they shouldn't feel obligated to do him any favors. This is a business, and the Falcons need to make decisions that are best for the team. So, Falcons fans, what do you think about all this? Should the team keep Cousins as a backup, or should they look for a trade partner? And how do you feel about Raheem Morris's handling of the situation? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more exclusive Falcons content. Your support helps us bring you the latest news and insights. Go Falcons!